We're joined by the one and only Robert Applebaum, I would say the leader of the student loan forgiveness movement and a good friend to the show. Robert, welcome. So thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me back.
So, last week the president got my blood boiling a little bit with this new budget. And for the record, and I'm glad that we had to have you on because I think this is a broader conversation. Because I think in the interim, and I talked about this last week, but the president and his budget would basically untie Stafford loans is something right now that's regulated by the Congress, where they determine what it's going to be, and it stays that way. And he would basically get rid of that and sort of peg it to the 10-year Treasury, which means it's open to the market. Right. And open to the market means it's code language for it's open to Wall Street speculation.
Exactly.
Meaning that once again, students are subjectable to what big banks want to do with their lives. What's your take on it? I know I just threw you to the wolves, but go ahead and tell me.
That's okay. Now it's my turn to rant. I think it's absurd. I mean, just a year ago, when the same issue was happening, the looming doubling of the interest rates from 3.4% to 6.8%, both the president and Mitt Romney both argued in favor of keeping it low. And Congress passed a bill, a one-year extension, keeping them at 3.4% for federal subsidized Stafford loans. Now, that's going to expire on July 1st, and the president's budget proposes tying it to the Treasury plus a couple of extra points for good measure. So it's just an absurd thing. I mean, what's changed in the last year? The president and even Mitt Romney made all of these arguments in favor of keeping student loan interest rates low. And those were pretty good arguments because Congress actually got together and agreed on something and passed it. And suddenly now what's changed?
Well, but that's it though, Robert. Like this is like I really feel as though the president's doing a dangerous dance with the devil here. And we already know out there, and I said this last week, but student loan debt is and this is what I heard. I was on a panel with Susie Orman and got a chance to sort of talk to her about this whole thing. And she made the good point that student loan debt is the most dangerous debt that one can have, especially in this market. It's completely and totally toxic. It cannot be discharged in bankruptcy, right?
Right.
And now that the president, knowing all of these things, knowing that both him and Michelle were subjectable to student loans, but at the same time, when they had the student loans, they could have filed bankruptcy and they could have went bankrupt on those. Now they can't. They couldn't have now. Knowing all these things to be fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take this dance with the devil for millions of students out there who
I don't know.
depend upon these loans to go to school?
I'd like to think, as a supporter of the president, I would like to think that he's doing some kind of Jedi mind meld, as he said before. He's doing some jujitsu dance that I'm not privy to the strategy. Maybe. Because that's the only thing that I can hang my hat on, because otherwise you're basically giving in to the Republican point of view that it should be tied to market rates, which are, right now, I mean, it seems like a good deal because rates are at historic lows. So somebody taking out a loan now, and if subject to the market rate, they would get a pretty good deal. But there's only one direction for those rates to go. That's up. And
up.
Exactly. So what's going to happen in a couple of years from now when interest rates go up? We're going to have a bunch of people having to pay thousands of dollars more for their education on top of the already skyrocketing costs of tuition.